what's guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today we will be reviewing the UNLEASHIA GLITTERPEDIA palette in number 7, all of PEACHADE. So I did make myself a little PEACHADE to sip through today's video. If you're wondering what's in my drink, it is just peach mogu mogu with Sprite and lemon lime bitters with ice and lemon to top it off. And we have a little PEACHADE for this PEACHADE palette. UNLEASHIA actually sent me this palette in PR, which I was so excited about because they saw my videos, they saw my love for their brand, and they sent me a bunch of goodies. So today we'll be reviewing the new addition to their Glitterpedia lineup, which you guys may know I also love very, very much. This is their latest one. I think it's perfect for summer. We're gonna talk all about it today. So with that being said, if you guys are curious about my thoughts on this palette, you want to see some swatches and also 3 looks with the palette as well, then please continue watching. Let's start the video with a little actual cheers and let's take a little sip of our drink. I actually quite like this, like mogu mogu mixed with Sprite and bitters. It's a pretty good combo. I did this really randomly, like I just got what I could and made it, and I think the outcome was quite nice. Let's hop into some product info to get started. So I usually buy my UNLEASHIA products from YesStyle, and on YesStyle the Glitterpedia palettes go for 23 USD, and if you would like to save a bit of money you can use my code JUDY. It is affiliate, so I do earn a small commission, just to let you know. I think it's a beautiful bright summer vibes palette, but inside the palette you'll get 3 mattes, 3 metallics, 1 satin and 2 pressed glitters. What I really love about the Glitterpedia palettes from UNLEASHIA is that they offer so much dimension in a really compact palette. Like I just mentioned, there are so many different finishes, from satin to pressed glitter to their metallics, and the metallics are not exactly so foiled. They are very, very sparkly. I mean, the whole family of their eyeshadow palettes is called Glitterpedia, so you are gonna expect a lot of glitter. So if you love glitter and sparkle, you will absolutely love UNLEASHIA's palette. So I do want to dive into each shade to really showcase each of the finishes and what you can sort of expect from this palette. So starting off, the first shade is called Love Action, and starting off strong, this actually is probably my favorite shade out of the entire palette. It is a really light yellow gold glitter shade, and it's actually not a pressed glitter, but when you put it on the eye, it looks like a pressed glitter. That's just how intense it is. But when you actually swatch it on your hand, it just feels like a normal metallic shadow, but when you apply it, there is just a burst of micro glitters and sparkles. Then moving right next to it, we have Pink Aurora, which is the satin shadow. So this one's a little bit more powdery of a metallic, that's why I'm calling it a satin. It's not as foiled, but I think it's the perfect shade name, like Pink Aurora. It just gives me that kind of airy vibe. It's very soft and very whimsical, but it definitely still can highlight where you want it to. Then we move into the first matte, which is called Coral Beach, and this is a super light pale pinky peach shadow. On me, this one is extremely light. It wouldn't really work as a transition shadow, maybe more as like a base or a matte highlight. Moving along into Evening Sangria, this one is the metallic pink. So with their metallics, they're not exactly like super foiled. They will have a lot of micro glitters in there, but this has a stronger metallic fuchsia pink base. This one is also very pretty too, but it doesn't shine and sparkle as much as that first one I mentioned. And next up we have Soda Crush, which is the first pressed glitter. This one has more dimensions of pinks. We also see reflects of gold in there and a little bit of blue, more of a toned down pressed glitter. And then we have Ice Blue Ocean, which is the second glitter. This one gives a little bit of a contrast to the palette because it's more of like an icy blue, but the reflex, it kind of gives me like a very Perry vibe. So it has those elements of purple, which is not too far from pink, so it really does tie in really nicely. Actually, now that I'm swatching it, I do feel like it's more of a metallic. It's very similar to Love Action, the first yellow gold shade that I talked about. It's very soft, but it comes off like a glitter. So correction, there is only one like chunky glitter, and the rest are all like metallics. This one kind of feels more like a Super Shock if I could compare, but way more glittery. It's so beautiful. Now onto the bottom row, we have a Coconut Aid, which I would say is the transition shadow in the palette. It's a very cool tone, mauvey brown, which I'm glad to see in the palette since, you know, there isn't that many mattes in here. I will take what I can get, and this definitely works great as a base. Then going into Hot Bikini, which is the matte fuchsia pink. I really relied on this shadow to carry all of my looks, so I'm really glad we did have this fuchsia pink, and you could say it's pretty much the star of the show really, because it is going to carry all your looks. And lastly, the last shade is called Peach Pit, which is the metallic that has more of like a plum purple base. Still has a bit of pink in there, definitely a different undertone. So here are all 9 of the beautiful shades in the No. 7 All of PEACHADE palette. It is a super pretty monochromatic palette with very subtle pops and contrast here and there, and I really do love all 3 looks that I got out of it. And again, what really stands out to me, like even though you might have a pink 9 pan or a pink palette in your collection, Unleashia does a really good job with dimensions and different finishes. If anything, if I'm just reviewing this palette on its own, and if I was just to use this palette on its own, not in conjunction with any other palettes, the looks you get out of it, it will look like it is from that same palette. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get like a vast diversity because you are limited to mattes, but again, not a bad thing. Just wanted to mention I had absolutely no issues with the formula. Everything performed beautifully. So yes, if you're looking for a sparkly glittery pink palette for the summer or in general, I definitely would recommend checking this one out from Unleashia. So those were just my quick thoughts on the new Unleashia palette. We can now move into my 3 looks. I hope you guys will enjoy them. Maybe make a little PEACHADE, watch through the look, but yeah, I hope you guys will enjoy them, and let's go ahead and hop right into them. Alright, starting off with the first look, I'm taking the shade Hot Bikini. This is going to be the base for our eye look today, so I'm just stamping that onto my lid mainly, just to get the pigmentation there going. And this hot pink is super easy to build, and I'm mainly just focusing that all over my lid, and then I'll also wash it around my lower lash line as well. This is going to be the star of the show because it is the base color, so that is what's really going to peep through overall. Next, I'm taking the shade Coral Beach, and I'm going to take this on a very tiny fluffy brush, and I'm going to use this to diffuse out Hot Bikini, the fuchsia pink. This is just going to give us a very soft and diffuse blend while creating a gradual gradient, and I'm just taking that literally all around, just using circular motions to buff this out. Now I'm going into the shade Peach Pit, and I'm going to tap that on top pretty much all over my lids on top of Hot Bikini, the fuchsia pink. Peach Pit definitely is more of like an eyeshadow topper. The base is not so foiled where you really see that purple like you see it in the pan. It's a little bit more transparent, so it works great just to have a little bit of shimmer and gleam over the eyes. And now I'm going into the shade Ice Blue Ocean, and this one's a little bit of a sparse glitter, so I'm just tapping that on at the center of my eyes, and then I'll take a small brush and dab that above my crease, again just mainly at the center. I will tap it out around the edges just to diffuse it out, but mainly this blue glitter is going to be at the center of our eyes. I'm also going to take that onto my lower lash line as well at the center again. This is a really nice contrast against those purples and pinks, and I think it's such a nice combo. I absolutely love it. And the micro glitters, I love micro glitters, and this is beautiful. So just to complete the look, I am aligning my lash line with a liquid liner, and then I will be smoking that out with an eyeshadow. And then going into my tight line, I took the Colourpop creme gel liner in the shade Loverboy. It's a nice fuchsia pink, and I thought that matched really well with the eye look. So here we have the first look completed. We are starting off with a super bright and fun look. When I see this palette, my eyes automatically go to that fuchsia pink, so I definitely wanted to create a look just making that the statement of the look. And here we have a really fun glittery pink smoky eye, and I love it. It's such an easy technique to do, but those little micro glitters really shine through. Alright, and now onto the second look. I'm starting off with the shade Coconut Aid as my base and transition shadow. I'm just going to work that all over my lid, and then I'll slowly blend that up into my crease, just using windshield wiping motions to get this blended out like always. And then I'm also going to take that onto my lower lash line as well. And then hopping into Hot Bikini, which is the bright pink. I'm going to focus this at the outer corners of my eyes, just dapping on the product there first to get the pigment, and then I'll slowly start blending that out. I'll also take this on a pencil brush and work that at the inner third of my eyes. So we're gonna start creating a soft halo eye effect. And I'm using a pencil brush just because at the inner third of my eye, as you can see, I do have a lot of folds here. So using a pencil brush will help me just get into those inner nooks. But I'm also gonna take Hot Bikini onto my lower lash line as well. I'm mainly focusing it at the outer corners, but I do sweep it towards the middle for a very soft gradient. And now I'm going into Ice Blue Ocean, which is the very light blue glitter, and I'm going to focus this at the center of my eyes where we sort of kept blank of the shadow. I think the contrast with the pink and icy blue is really pretty. It does have reflex of purple in there as well, so it does blend nicely with those pinks. But then I'm pretty much just going to sweep that all over my lower lash and sort of create like a glittery lower lash line. But now I'm going to take Pink Aurora to highlight my inner corners. I think this will be just the perfect way to finish off all of the eyeshadows. But to slowly wrap up on the look, I just did my wing like normal, and then I'm popping on one of these gems onto my lower lash line where we have that glittery lower lash, just to add a little bit more dimension. I just felt like I needed something extra for this look, so this little gem is just going right at the center. But here we have the second look completed. It might look similar to the first look because we did use that fuchsia pink, but we did do a different technique. We played with a little bit more glitter, and I really like the combo of that icy light blue with the pink. So I really love how this look turned out, and I hope you guys like it too. Finally, onto the last look. I'll be starting off with the shade Coral Beach as my base color. This on me is super light, so it's working more as a base rather than a transition, but I always feel like I need a base or a transition for any eye look, so it still works. But I'm just gonna sweep that all over my lid, and then I'll also take that onto my bottom lash line as well. I did mix it in with Coconut Aid, which is the mauve matte, just a little bit, just for a little bit more color on the lower lash. Then I'm going into Hot Bikini. This is going at the outer corners of my eyes. I'm mainly focusing this just at the outer third and really just on my lid. I'm not gonna blend it up too high into my crease, but we did use Hot Bikini in all three looks, so as you could see that this was just a necessary shade for all of the looks just because we were limited to matte. And then I'm also gonna take that onto the lower lash line as well, again just at the outer edge. Then going into Evening Sangria, I'm gonna put that right on top of Hot Bikini, so the metallic fuchsia pink is going right on top of the matte fuchsia pink. I just want a lot of glitter for this look. This one is not super sparkly compared to the one that we're gonna use, but you still see those little hints. It gives a bit of a sheen to the eyes. Now we're going into the star of the show, which is Love Action, the light yellow gold. We're gonna put that at the inner half of our lid, and we're gonna take that all the way into our inner corners. We're gonna take that onto our lower lash line as well. So pretty much the inner third of our eyes is going to be this beautiful sparkly yellow gold, and the outer corners will be the pink. So we have that duotone eye look, but this shade, guys, took my breath away. Probably one of the most sparkly shadows I've used. Keep in mind that this is a shadow. Like when you swatch it, it feels smooth like a shadow, but when you apply it, this intensity of glitter and glam, I just fell in love. Like, this shade is my absolute favorite. I'm gonna be using this shade all the time, guys. I don't know why. This one just stood out to me way more than the rest. And then for the last shadow we'll be taking, it's called Soda Crush, which is the pinky purple glitter. We're gonna put that right at the center where the gold and the pinks meet. So this kind of has a bit of both, this glitter. It has like pinks and gold. So I think it's the perfect like in-between shade, and it does give more dimension and texture to our eyes because this is a pressed glitter, which means the glitters are a little bit more chunky. But then to complete the look, I did take these gems. I'm putting a star one under my eye and then just a tiny circle one right underneath there to complete this very summery look. I don't know why the stars really just pulled it all together for me. But here we have the third and final look completed. Probably my favorite out of the three. I just really love the gold and pink combo, and also just that shade Love Action. Like, it blew me away. So this would automatically just be my favorite look. Alright guys, so those were my three looks. Be sure to let me know which look out of the three was your favorite down below. I think this one, the third one, would have to be my favorite, but let me know what you guys think. If you guys did enjoy today's video and you found it helpful, if you could, give the video a thumbs up for me. I'd appreciate it so much. I will be doing a guide to UNLEASHIA because I do own a lot of their products and a lot of shades, so I'm going to be starting a new series, sort of like a guide to each brand. So I'm gonna do M Cosmetics, Olens, like smaller brands that I have a lot of products from, so keep an eye out for that. But with that being said, that does conclude today's video, guys. So thank you so much for watching as always. I love you, and I'll go ahead and see you guys in my next video. Bye!